Welcome to part two of my personal perception on marijuana. Camera shut off, no problem. We're going to continue. As I was saying, it's unhealthy to consume large amounts of food in a very quick sitting. Um, that's how it made me feel. That's what it does. But I have noticed if I use it, the less I use it, the more powerful it is. Like, for example, if I just use it maybe like once a day or like maybe once every few days, the benefits are very, very useful. It's amazing. And as we're going into how it makes you feel amazing, is I'm gonna really dive deep into what marijuana I believe marijuana does to our bodies, not only physically but spiritually, mentally, and energetically on all levels. I remember watching a video about how marijuana can actually support your energetic system, like your chakras and stuff. Because, like, for example, like I start smoking right now, and all of a sudden things start to expand. I start to feel happy in a way, like I kind of like whenever you're diving deep, really deep with people, and they kind of use the expression, "Oh no, you're just really high." You smoke too much. No, that's because marijuana was even used way back hundreds, like the Egyptians even used marijuana to open themselves up to nature. It's such a powerful plant, and it can really, I feel it unlocks like hidden esoteric and divine knowledge within yourselves. It can really help you connect to higher selves, your higher self. It can help you connect and to channel into higher thought forms. Your energetic body becomes almost expanded in a way, like your emotions are heightened in a way. It's so much easier to connect with people, and you really feel just such a connection and a groundedness in your being and who you are and what you want to be and how you want the world to be and how you interact with not only yourself and how you interact with other people. I just find it very, very beautiful. But of course, everything in moderation. If you're using it a few times a day, you're most likely going to feel some negative effects from it. But if you take a responsibility approach and you relax and you disconnect yourself from the need of it, because it's very easily for me to pick back up the habit and say, "Oh, I need this," or "I want to use this because I want how it makes me feel." But even whenever I do finally, cave in and I do that just to get the feeling, that feeling, you know what I'm saying, it's not the same. It's not the same euphoria. It's not as pleasurable because you feel like you're almost being kind of overtaken and overwhelmed, and you feel like you have to have it, but you don't. But that's more of like a subconscious program. That's something I personally have to work through. That is not how it is going to affect everyone. All of this is just my personal perspective and experience. I like to say that often because everyone's perspective differs so much on so many different things, and I don't like to tell people how things are, or this is the only way to do something, or this is the only way you can tell things. I don't like to limit. This There are no limits. That's the thing. People say sky is the limit, and I look up and I'm like, but past the sky is space, and space is limitless. So, like, if I can just jump past the clouds and reach into space, then I can go as far as I can possibly ever imagine. And I feel marijuana kind of helps you take you into that perspective too, because it really opens you up. I notice a lot of the times I start getting like universal downloads and stuff, and I'll have to like start taking deep breaths and everything while I'm using marijuana. Marijuana, personally, in my experience, it can be very powerful. Like, if I haven't used it in a week and I take a couple hits or whatever, like, that's all I'll need. I'll be like, whoa. Like, I'll have to start taking deep breaths, and the energy. Some people, they don't like to smoke marijuana because it gives them a strong amount of anxiety. And I guess you could say it does the same to me to certain extents, but I feel the anxiety is a good thing. It's just so much energy is just coming out of your body so quick. if marijuana affects you like that, you really need to know how to counter affect it and to really take that experience and make it a lot more positive for yourself. Just taking a couple of deep breaths, always relaxing. That couple deep breaths also made me realize marijuana is extremely good for meditation. It's very nice, like if you're feeling very rough or whatever, and instead of using marijuana just to simply numb your emotions and how you're feeling, you can use it as a meditation tool. And you can use the marijuana. Hey, this another download just popped up. Marijuana is also, in my perspective, like a plant of intent. This is a good one. Listen to this. So let's say I'm ready to have a great meditation session. And I fuel my thoughts and my being and my subconscious and everything with that intention of meditation. So whenever I pick up the plant and I decide to use it, meditation is, of course, going to be very well enhanced. So you start meditating, you get a great meditation session out of it. Now, this goes with everything. For example, I've had a great day and everything. I'm ready to really use marijuana to unwind my being. And I say, okay, I'm going to use this to relax. I want to use this, to absorb some knowledge. So I start, I put that into my being, into my subconscious, into my essence and everything. And I take a couple hits and boom, I start absorbing knowledge much, much more quickly. Another example is like, okay, I want to use marijuana to enhance other dimensions for an extent. You're not trying to gain a higher perspective or a higher self or connect yourself with anything higher or anything. I like to sometimes say, okay, I'm going to, after I smoke this ball or smoke this blunt or joint or whatever, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to enjoy a video game. And actually, that video game's dimensions will actually be enhanced. It'll be a lot more fun. It'll be a lot more acceptable to play. You just start feeling so much better when you can place it increases your intentions. It really, in my perspective, it really, really does. So, marijuana is not a bad thing to use at all, but I say it's important to know why you are using it. Are you using it to hide from something? Are you using it to hide yourself from your light work or your shadow work? Are there emotions or feelings or thoughts you don't want to encounter, so you constantly puff, puff, pass? Are there, is it just realize, like, is it just a habit? Like, you just naturally, instinctively, and subconsciously just think that you need it, so you constantly use it? Possible. I've been through all of these scenarios. And actually, using marijuana can even help you discover why you use marijuana if you use it. I respect everybody's perspective. I understand some people don't like to use it and they feel like it's a plant that should not be abused. It's okay. But I feel it is a plant, it is nature. Nature simply should not be illegal, and nature simply is not going to harm you in moderation. It is a plant that, see, everything has, even plants and vegetables and fruits and everything have a vibrational frequency to them. And marijuana has been being used by humans, an ancient race basically, since thousands of years before Christ. So, isn't it possible that, like, the Egyptians, for example, were using this plant for its vibrational properties and the knowledge and the wisdom that it holds? And then that plant actually grew and developed its own vibrational frequency around that, and so forth. And that is why it is still used to this day. And at the same time, I also feel why it is illegal at this day, because it can really wake you up. That's all that I have at the moment. I don't want to go too overboard with it. Peace, love, namaste. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. I absolutely love doing these videos. They are so much fun to do. I love interacting with my followers and my YouTubers. Please follow me on Instagram if you have not, at the Leo's Light. You have a beautiful and blessed day. Love you guys.